just a quick recap. We went over how Fable was launched on the 12th of this month and got discontinued 3 days later. It was the most advanced large language model ever released to the public, and apparently it got pulled due to national safety concerns, um, which is weird because Anthropic built in guardrails to prevent that from being an issue anyway. Another thing that might have happened was um, Amazon might have declared that like they could jailbreak Fable into like Mythos, but that's just unconfirmed. The other big theory is that well, the U.S. government don't want China to replicate Fable and turn it into a very cheap version of some of the model. Um, and that would potentially derail the whole AI industry and, uh, wipe off a lot of stock value. So that's another one. Is it going to come back? Probably. Probably Fable's going to come back at some point. Because this is an interesting one, right? I read some things online, and they think one of the reasons why it was pulled was because they don't want like DeepSeek basically just copying it and then selling it at a really cheap price, or like giving access to this AI at a very cheap price, which would undermine the stock value of these big US companies like Anthropic and OpenAI, which are worth crazy money right now. And something like that could potentially reduce the value of Claude, of Anthropic and ChatGPT with these really groundbreaking models. If China could like create one similar, much cheaper, or not China, anyone, then that would reduce the price. So yeah, Fable 5 had anti-China guardrails built into it, which sounds funny. It used classifiers to flag queries about cyber, bio, chemical, and frontier large language model development. So basically, if China tried to copy it and steal it, or if anyone did, it would flag that and downgrade it to Opus 4.8, which is the previous highest quality model. So Anthropic had already engineered exactly the protection the government was worried about. So that's what made it surprising when they pulled it, because it should have already been like fixed and unable to jailbreak. Um, so that makes it more of a gift for open source AI. So like now that this has happened, it might even push people more towards DeepSeek. So if this was meant to slow China down, it might have done the opposite. And on like a single LLM, like for our builds, for what we make, then the issue is like the government or the US can just pull it, and then within 90 minutes our products don't work anymore. Products that our customers rely on, that we rely on, if we use these kind of things on a daily basis, if we build around it. So coming back to the importance of having multiple providers like DeepSeek or Kimi, or ChatGPT or Gemini, is probably a good thing, so we can put ourselves at less risk in case the government decided to take the AI away. So Fable 5 from my use, I did test it. I noticed it is very good at long and difficult things that require a lot of time, a lot of effort. For example, if you have a big code base, you have a big project with bugs, Fable is able to go in there and be really picky at analyzing the bugs, identifying them. You can give it permission to make changes or to create a big plan. I used it like 4 times, and the best times I used it were to go into my project, go look at all of my code, and tell me why it wasn't like what the bugs are, what the limitations are, and it gave me a report afterwards with suggestions, and it was really quite impressive. For Opus 4.8 and Fable 5, as I was saying previously, I had there was 3 days it was available. I tested it 4 times. It was very good at long tasks. It identified lots of bugs in my code base, but I tried to make it do something simple and it was just took too long. I was overthinking. It was too mighty, too powerful.